So, you guys are doing everything you can to try to survive this. You're going to have to roll me this next one, and I do apologize, Kieran. You have to roll me this next one to help your ship with disadvantage. Your whole crew's assisting you and whatnot, but you're going to have to roll this one with disadvantage.
Oof.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
I was prepared for this. I can't help you, but I'm prepared.
Okay.
Yeah?
Somebody did just, literally as you did it, I saw it 2 seconds later, throw an advantage at you for your next roll.
Okay.
Yeah, that means you could roll this again without disadvantage with
Sure.
Yeah. Normal.
Next person?
Yeah, just completely normal roll because you spent it. Okay!
That's better than 5.
Bad, but not an 91. Bad, but not an 91.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true. You gotta take it, right?
It's literally, I saw it literally right as you're rolling. I was reacting, which is why I didn't see it right away. Okay, cool. So Kieran, so this is how we're gonna describe it. The storm is hitting your ship hard. It's hitting your ship so fucking hard that it's being tossed around. The rope that is holding the ship anchored, it's actually causing more damage to the side of the ship and ripping at the side of the ship than it is trying to hold it in place so it doesn't get capsized or thrown over or whatnot. Things are being thrown around, the people are being thrown around, so on and so forth. However, at one point in time, you actually take a huge gust of wind, a huge wave splash, white water all at once comes across the ship, that 3 of your crew members almost went overboard. But Kieran noticed this, literally last second, notices that this is happening and reaches out with all of her sorcery that she has, calling upon her dragon mark to aid the winds that she can already manipulate, and grabs the people that are flying off the overboard and just slams them back against the side of the deck so they can grab onto some bit of rigging, some bit of railing or whatever it is that they can do. So as the white water rushes off, they can use the lurching of the ship back the other way to throw themselves back onto the deck of the ship and not go overboard. It's almost like crisis averted, right? And not go overboard the ship. And so now they're back on, and you kind of start screaming at them. One of them clearly looks exhausted. You tell them to get below deck; they're useless. And the other ones, Karen's aggressive. The other ones, you tell them to get back to work and whatnot. Blah 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 blah. Stallbor, what are you doing in this situation before I continue on?
Below deck, creeping on people.
It's below deck.
Yeah, he's got like his spell book out. Like, assuming the ship is, we're Star Trekking right now, we're like, he's got his spellbook out.
Okay.
Right? He probably would have tied the bookmark around his hand, so if he drops it, he doesn't drop it. But I'm watching you, Scott. But yeah, he's like preparing spells for if the ship crashes, more or less. Because he's a pessimist right now.
Okay.
Well, but you're not really crashed because we're docked.
Oh, are we docked right now?
Yeah, I
couldn't tell.
Well, you're not on a dock, but you're near a safer part of land and whatnot.
If we've stopped struggling, then I guess I get slightly less paranoid, but only slightly.
Okay. So as you guys as the storm is slamming against the ship and whatnot, eventually the eye of the storm rolls over you guys. Now, as the eye rolls over you guys, and you're gonna have to deal with the other half of it, right? As the eye rolls over you guys, 2 things I want to take note of. 1, your ship is all sorts of like there's cracks inside the wood over here. There's a bunch of ripped ropes, like pulled ropes that you're gonna have to repair. A whole bunch of your crew have taken injuries. There's like blood that's sitting in areas from people smashing their heads against the side or taking a splinter, like a large splinter and stuff like that from the damage that's happening. Nothing mortal. Definitely everything that can be fixed and whatnot. These are all things where you're like, I'm really glad I made that deal before I left. All of those things. But another thing happens when you're in the eye of the storm, Karen.
I was gonna ask, can we just sail with the eye?
You can. Give me a second to tell you the direction of the thing. Another thing happens when you're in the eye of the storm, Karen. This happened months ago, many months ago, when you were aboard an airship. Something came over you. Something from within felt powerful. And you were able to tap into that power and use it to your advantage to save your own life, the life of your crew, to thwart the plans of these evil doppelgangers or whatever it was that was going on. As soon as, but you almost like lost control of yourself at the same time. You almost feel that level of power building up in you again. you feel everything about yourself is just energized, is just charged. You were tired. You were genuinely tired from fighting against a storm from all of this. You are fucking electrifying right now. You feel so much energy coursing through your body. How does
We're gonna go find more storms after this. No, so I'm gonna use that newfound energy to get the ship moving and see if we can kind of keep up in this eye.
Sure.
Where it's safe.
So you're going to be able to use your abilities to try to see which way the wind is going, but roll for me your nature with advantage check.
Yeah. Also, that's a really interesting point Ollie brought up. Does it feel like it doesn't charm a little bit, or no?
Yeah, I just said in
Feeling
chat,
altogether?
is this a roaming manifestation zone?
Gotcha.
I don't care if it is. I like the idea. Okay.
Okay. In Sharn, you are connected to the plane of air.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel like you're connected to the plane of air. This feels like something, like a storm is brewing from within. It's a different kind of feeling. So, like, in Sharn, it doesn't matter electrical, it doesn't matter thunder, like, it matters that it's air that floats, right? Okay.
Gotcha.
So, you're able to find out exactly which way the wind is blowing and set course, and you know which way it's going. One thing you can do, that's a different story. You can set course and start trying to sail in that direction. Your crew is battered and beat up, but you can make me a navigation check.
Navigation check or vehicle's water check? Because
Vehicle's
navigator's
water.
tools. Okay, because navigator's tools are different.
Yeah. Oh my God, Eric, what do you do to her all week that she shows up to our games with terrible luck?
Don't blame this on me.
It's Eric's fault. You know what I could do? I could be having one of the mates use like the help or aid another action to give me advantage on the roll.
Oh God.
So maybe I'll do that.
Okay, well, you currently are sitting at a 6. What do you
I mean, actually, I can use an action point, can't I? It's a what, a d6?
It is
Something. It's something.
Okay, that gets you up to a 9. So
It's not bad.
not good. You try to sail with the storm. You try to sail with the eye of the storm, and this is how it plays out. When you navigate the ship, you navigate it by grabbing the helm and using the power of your dragon mark to force the thing to move at extreme speeds and with a very good precision and whatnot. As you're doing this on this helm, trying to control this the ship in the storm, you are putting too much energy into it. You're so energized. You've never felt this kind of feeling before and had this kind of control over it. You're actually pushing yourself too far. So instead of like sitting perfectly in or dragging behind, you actually keep dipping into the storm in front of you. And it's like people are like, Kieran, you got to slow down. Kieran, Captain, slow down. But despite that fact, you're still pushing yourself in because it's almost like you get tunnel vision. You're drowning them away. Eventually, you lose the eye. You lose the eye of the storm, and sadly, with it, you lose all that energy and all that excitedness, and you're caught in the storm again. Luckily, not too far out to sea. Roll me that check again with disadvantage.
I'm gonna use another action point.
Go ahead. Okay, with a 10, nothing terrible is going to happen to you, but certainly nothing good. More tossing, more turning, more light damage to the ship and so on and so forth. But you are able to survive the storm. Some wares were probably broken or lost. Some of your crew is definitely injured, and certainly repairs need to be made. But because of the fact that you, and also some of your sails now need to be repaired as well because you were using them to sail during the storm as well. So definitely some repairs need to be done out at sea. Luckily, you have supplies for that. It was exhausting, but you guys survived. The morale of your crew has certainly dipped because of the storm. I mean, there's nothing you can do about there being a storm, but they also thought you were kind of a crazy person for trying to ride the storm. Unfortunately, it didn't play in your favor this time.
Right. That's okay.
Yeah. Okay, so the rest of you guys, Reich, how do you feel about the fact that she rode into the storm and like Stalbor, how do you feel? Like, what do we?
I am at the point in my sailing career where I don't know very much, but even I I question the logic of sailing into trying to use the eye of a storm to sail through it. That seems like not your best play. But I'm not one to question her when this is her ship. I believe
Yeah,
she
but
probably
you
knows a
didn't
lot better.
feel that energy in the eye. Like, it was just beautiful.
You felt
got
energy in
carried
the
away.
eye. You felt empowered.
Yes.
Well, that raises some questions. I'm still curious about how you sling spells, Kieran Lurndar.
Oh, I have no idea.
I know you don't. And that's why I'm curious. Now, you don't mind. I need to cast spells on half this ship, and I'll go around like doing like mending some things and healing elixir some things. I'll actually help. Like, I know I can't mend big things, but you know, helping, trying, slightly.
So, luckily, the energy that happened in the storm, all the electrifying nature that came through, everything that you were able to experience in the storm, actually it energized you to a point where you actually gain a little bit of your vigor back that you otherwise would have lost. Kieran, you gained back one action point that you had spent beforehand, but you were able to get back some vigor that you had lost while you were out there. Okay, so the repairs that need to be happened at sea. Stalbar, do you have mending, or does anybody in the party have
I have
mending?
mending.
Oh
I have
my God!
mending.
Oh my God!
I took mending last time I could get another cantrip, and it's never shown up as something that's necessary.
Oh my
That's
God!
why I say I'm casting mending. I'm like actually part of the crew right now. Yeah. I am going around fixing things slowly. If they're like, Stalbar, mend the sail. We'll like take the sail down, put it on a table somewhere, and I'll spend like 3 days mending the sail. You know, it's a ship. Everything would take a long time, and he'd be fine with it.
Oh man, that's crazy. Okay, cool. You will fix a whole bunch of things. I would say, Kieran, that with the repairs, everything that needs to be taken care of, because of the fact that you have mending, because of the fact that you have the able crew, you didn't lose any crew or anything. Morale's a little bit low, but that's not the end of the world yet. You're able to. It only takes you about a day and a half to get everything up and going. Do you immediately want to set sail, or
to get everything ship-shape?
Immediately set sail as soon as everything's
Hey.
awesome. Cool. All right, so you guys set sail again and continuing to head back towards your trek. Past Valinar, and there is a bit more travel to get yourself the rest of the way to New Throne. I too need you to roll me one more D100.
If you're not rolling 90 again, that'd be fucking
I've been
great.
rolling a lot of like 90s.
Okay.
Thank you. That could be the opposite.
I tend to do things in a bell curve.
Front
So, like,
storm.
The extremes
That's
are
another
at the
storm.
ends. The extremes are at the ends, and other things are in the middle. All right, so roll me a D6, please, Karen. A 4. Awesome. While Kieran is on command and Ivelo is in lookout, because that's watch B, you hear Ivelo call out, ship ho!
Ooh. All right, I'm gonna look. Can I see?
Okay, so looking off to the side, it's roll me a perception check. It's really hard to see out that distance. Okay, so unfortunately, like the glare off the ocean, the angle that you have, all that stuff, you're not able to see it. But Ivelo does come over to the edge in case you didn't hear. And he's like, "Hey, Captain, ship ho! You know, off the
Colors?
starboard bow. It's too far to see as of now."
All right, everyone, stay on guard.
You guys continue traveling. What is it? Allowing them to get a little bit closer. And as they do, he calls down to you, "Captain, there are no colors on that ship."
Awesome.
That's not great.
All right, I'm gonna just call for all hands on deck. At that point.
Absolutely. So this is the second AHOD that you have as an option. Sadly, luckily, this is several days after the storm crap that you had to deal with, but you call all hands on deck on this one. So it's a slightly different arrangement than the other one that you had. So Nealo and what is it? Inilam, Jeez, I'm mispronouncing my own name. And Nilam also jump up as to be lookouts as well. One of them heads to the back of the ship to look off the other one. Another one joins up in the crow's nest, and they're looking out, trying to see what they can. And they do confirm that there is another ship that there's a ship heading this way. It actually seems to be a pretty decently large size ship heading your way.
All right, so I'm gonna start prepping the crew for combat, which means I'm gonna have somebody else take over captaining, so I can participate in that. I believe. And yeah, we're just gonna keep sailing. Alter course slightly so we don't interact with it unless we have to.
Sure.
But yeah, that's it.
So the thing continues. So you want to keep.
We'll see if they follow us. Essentially.
Yeah, you're gonna keep a good distance from it. Awesome.
Yeah.
So it continues on its course. So roll me a vehicles check for exactly that. Normal. Jesus. Oh my God. So you try.
Are you sure you don't want Stalboard to become the captain? Because
Yeah,
he
Aaron,
doesn't know
look
how,
at
but
me.
apparently it doesn't matter.
I'm the captain now.
Hey,
We'll have Emerald take over.
Stalwart, what happened when Odette couldn't fly her own?
Oh, Jesus Christ, the fucking disc.
Right?
Exactly.
So
You're
now
right.
you take over, you become the captain, and when there's a big bad guy, you crash the ship into them and you win.
There you go.
Okay. So you are piloting your ship or whatever, and you're trying to maybe it's because you mispredicted its course or whatever the case. Maybe something subconscious in your mind made you still want to stay close anyways, and so you made like slight turns that you didn't expect to. Whatever the case may be, you actually did not avoid the ship entirely. They are still rather close, and they have not changed course. They are sailing straight and directly towards where you guys are. Could you roll me one more vehicles check, but this is something entirely different?
Yep.
And they're coming directly at you.
Okay.
Oh, they're gonna crash into the ship. Ma'am, you don't want to get closer to the ship. Turn away.
Okay.
Okay.
See, Stalboard would be having like almost exactly that conversation, just like not ironically, just like he'd be like on the deck, like while people are rushing around, and they'd be like, you know, that ship's
How,
going right towards us.
How far away are they in terms of
Right for us.
They're getting pretty darn close. It's one of those things where ship combat works different from regular combat. Rounds aren't like 6 seconds at a time, right? They are
right, but if I want to jump off the ship and fly there.
Oh yeah, you have time to do that. You've got probably 5 rounds before they would actually make a full impact with your ship, which is more than enough time because even though your ship's seaworthiness is a -1, your ship handling is a +1. So you actually really, and that's without your direction, without your magic power on it, right? So you could do that.
Oh, yeah, Stalboard, here's my plan. You're going to cast invisibility on me. I'm going to fly over there. I'm going to lightning bolt the captain, kill him, and then I'm going to fly back to the ship.
There's a
I
little
don't
bit.
recognize the country flag on that ship.
They're not flying colors because they're probably pirates.
I thought that the Mournlands maybe just had a grey flag.
No, people
like,
don't live.
suitable.
People don't live
Yeah.
in the Moorlands.
That's
Oh.
not a thing. And yeah, probably if they came from the Mournlands, I would say burn the ship too.
Yeah,
Well, you can fly.
I can fly.
I can fly. I can fly. I can fly.
Better than I could before. Faster.
Is it better or worse than you can sail?
Shut up. Shut up, right. I want to go kill pirates, please.
Do you have time to do this, Kieran? This seems dangerous. I'm
No,
usually one to encourage your danger.
I can do
More
it.
importantly, are we sure that they're pirates and not just?
What if they are? What if they just bleached their flag?
Well, they're coming to crash into our ship, so they're not good.
Maybe they just suck.
All right.
We're not one to judge right now.
I'll cast invisibility, but if you don't get on that ship when it's closer, I'm gonna start doing stuff.
Do we have
You'll be
any
able to see
pitch?
me.
Do we have any pitch on board? I would very much like to cover my
Does
area.
the ship actually have any weaponry?
Yeah.
Okay, I just never heard it being described.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna cast fly.
You guys.
In which
you guys
case,
have
yeah, I
ballista.
will totally cast invisibility on Kieran.
Okay, cool.
Same thing as like close your mouth.
Yeah. While everything's happening, I would like to like cover some of my arrows in like oil or pitch or whatever I can find, something I can light on fire.
I'm also gonna convert a bunch of stuff over to sorcery points and third level spells.
Absolutely, that's perfectly
Like,
fine.
you know.
Ollie, just so you know, because I know you're concerned about these sorts of things, and Reich, because you're concerned about these things, Aramart is the first mate and the one that takes over the command of the ship when she leaves. Aramart is actually, I'm just going to put it in mechanical terms, 14 intelligence, wisdom, charisma, but in-game terms, is actually a bright and wise person that often counters Kieran's points and then concedes because Kieran's the
I
captain.
remember him being described, yeah.
Yep, and has a lot of respect of the crew. Like an incredible amount of respect of the crew. So.
Yeah, I remember this then. Yeah.
It's almost like Stalbert would never admit it. Stalbert would most likely would never admit it. But he's actually happier that Aramart is captaining the ship while his command of the ship.
Right now, our combat's going on. Also, before Kieran flies away, he will absolutely just be like, before you go, and kind of like, and like cast mage armor on you, like wherever
nice.
you are.
Mm-hmm.
And then he can't grab you. So he's like, Kieran, don't die.
It'll be fine.
Okay.
There's a plan B if that happens.
Pro tip.
Yeah, there is.
Okay, so Kieran, you are invisible. You have mage armor on you, and you can fly. You can jokes old Scott, and make your way over to that vessel as quickly as you can. In the meanwhile, Aramart is going to make their piloting check to I'm saying piloting check, but their vehicle's water check. So uncommon, like doesn't roll off the tongue well.
It doesn't. That's why I scrapped it in Yavaskia. Just screw it.
Yeah,
it's clunky.
Yeah, it's literally called like your helmsman. It's a helmsman check. I don't know. So to handle the vessel, so they're going to make their check, which is actually going to be a +4 on the roll. Which is that the same thing Kieran rolls?
Yeah.
So could you roll that for him?
No,
I
you
don't
should
want
roll it
to.
as an NPC. You should roll it as an NPC. Do not allow this to happen, please.
I don't want to.
No, I'm fine with you rolling for
right.
Aramart. And look at that!
Look at that, beautiful.
Fucking
captain,
whips
my
the ship
captain.
around in a
Oh,
second.
Oh god, Aramart.
Oh, well.
It's just again that's actually a 25, just so you know, because again the ship handling is a +1. We just don't apply that. I just do it on my side, right? That's technically a 25. That is amazing. So like you said, Eric, like whips the ship around like it's no problem. Like I got this. I watch Fast and the Furious. Whips the ship around and gets it completely out of way. Make sure that the ballista have like the perfect angling to take the ship out, and is even setting it up so that the winds, because he doesn't have the ability to control elementals, so that the winds can take the ship out of combat as quickly as possible if need be. All right, moving on. Kieran, you are make your way over to the ship, flying there as quickly as you can. Roll me a perception check. Okay, so you notice there's nobody on the ship.
Oh, that's weird.
As you're approaching the ship, as you go in there, you see not a single person, not on the crow's nest, not at the helm, not on the entire deck of the ship. And you get this like foreboding feeling as you notice that. Kieran?
Oh, it's from the Moorlands? Yeah.
We're going to discuss this when we come back from our next break.
Okay.
Was
Magical-
Stalbor accidentally
magical
right?
fuckery.